So picture this. Your sales team is absolutely fired up, right? They're asking for more leads. So the growth team, eager to deliver, goes ahead and builds a pipeline. It scrapes everything: business names, categories, phone numbers, emails, websites, the whole shebang. It exports all of this into a massive CSV file ready for the CRM. And at first glance, it looks incredible. Hundreds of records, perfectly neat columns. The import goes off without a hitch. Sales finally has something new to chew on. But then the cracks start to show. You realize some businesses are listed twice. Phone numbers are just missing. Emails are bouncing back. You've got records in totally the wrong category, or worse, they were already sitting in your CRM to begin with. So yeah, the pipeline technically produced leads, but the business absolutely cannot trust them.
Okay, let's really dive into this, because this right here is the fundamental issue with lead generation automation. When your pipeline is just vacuuming up hundreds of unverified records completely stuffed with duplicates and missing fields, that crucial trust between your operations and sales teams, it completely breaks down. A lead gen pipeline is really only as good as the trust you have in its data. More leads absolutely do not always mean better leads. Actually, scratch that. Bad leads are worse than no leads. They just create this massive pile of invisible administrative work. And that brings us to the core focus of our explainer today. The value of automating your lead gen is not, I repeat, is not in massive row volume. We're not judging success by how heavy your spreadsheet is. The true value is in creating reliable, compliant, usable, and decision-ready data, stuff your sales team can actually use. So today, we're going to break down exactly how to build an automated pipeline using Captcha AI while making sure the output is actually, highly usable. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start by tackling the lead quality problem, then we'll look at designing your data model, how to overcome those pesky capture roadblocks, dive into some scraping and troubleshooting, and finally wrap up with delivering CRM-ready leads.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the lead quality problem.
So let's start building our practical checklist. Step 1, define your business purpose. You really have to stop and ask yourself, what exactly will this lead data support? Are we talking direct sales outreach, account research, local market mapping, maybe partner discovery? Because if that purpose is fuzzy, your pipeline is just going to generate a ton of volume with zero actual value. And then, step 2, confirm your permitted sources. Before you scrape a single byte of data, you need to verify if a source can actually be used, and under what conditions. As a rule of thumb, you want to stick to approved APIs, owned data, partner data, or public sources where collection is strictly allowed.
Moving right along to Section 2, designing the data model.
Okay, so this brings us to step 3 of our checklist, and this one is absolutely crucial. You have to define exactly which fields are mandatory for your CRM before any collection actually begins. You've got to make the call upfront. Is a business name and a website enough for your team, or is a lead literally useless to sales without a direct phone number and an email address? Remember, not every collected record is immediately ready for action, so you have to strictly draw a line between what's mandatory and what's just nice-to-have enrichment data.
Which leads us nicely into Step 4, separating your raw records from your CRM-ready ones. It's like night and day, really. A raw lead might just be a business name. It's essentially a useless string of text. But a CRM-ready lead? Now that is a record packed with all your required fields, it's passed strict deduplication rules, it's got a clear source URL, and it's been explicitly approved for your workflow. Making this distinction crystal clear helps your sales and marketing folks know exactly how to handle every single record.
Let's transition over to Section 3, overcoming capture roadblocks.
So how do we actually pull this off technically? Well, here's a high-level look at the workflow. First, you've got your directory scraper, aiming at your target search results. But as we all know, directories absolutely hate bots and aggressively block automated collection. That is exactly where integrating a Captcha AI solver saves the day. It steps in to smoothly handle those annoying session interruptions and challenge tokens. And wrapping it all together is the pipeline runner, which basically orchestrates the whole shebang, moving data from the scraper through the solver and spitting out nicely structured data.
All right, let's get into the messy stuff in Section 4, scraping and troubleshooting.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how it outlines Step 5, building your deduplication and troubleshooting rules. Because things will break. If you're seeing empty phone numbers or emails, it's probably because they just aren't visible on the main list page. The fix? Program your scraper to click into those individual listing pages. Getting duplicates because a business is listed in multiple categories? To stop sales from awkwardly calling the same person twice in an hour, set up a deduplication rule, using a combined key, like merging the business name plus the phone number.
Hitting CAPTCHAs on literally every page load, your IP is definitely flagged. You'll need to add some short delays and rotate your proxies alongside your CAPTCHA AI solver. And hey, if your CSV comes out looking like completely garbled alien text, just switch to UTF-8 encoding in your CSV writer. Easy fix.
But listen, setting those rules up once just isn't enough. Step 6 is all about monitoring source health. The internet changes constantly, right? A directory page that works beautifully today might return empty results tomorrow. Layouts break, fields vanish, and suddenly your lead volume just falls off a cliff. You absolutely must track these metrics, because if you don't, you stumble right into step 7, the hidden operational cost. You'll end up paying someone to manually clean up a horrific CSV file every single week. And trust me, that wasted time definitely counts as part of your pipeline's cost.
Okay, let's quickly run through some massive traps you need to dodge. Mistake number 1, measuring success purely by volume. Remember our hook? Mistake 2 is dumping raw, unvalidated data straight into your CRM. Just don't do it. Mistake 3 is relying on weak deduplication rules. Mistake 4, turning a blind eye to missing contact fields. And mistake 5, scraping or using data without actually checking platform rules or permissions. Avoid these pitfalls, and I promise you, your pipeline will already be performing in the top tier.
And that brings us to our final stop, Section 5, delivering CRM-ready leads.
This brings us to step 8, which is assigning ownership. I want you to seriously consider this question. Who actually owns your workflow? Like, who is responsible for the source configuration? Who handles the deduplication rules? Who gives the green light for CRM imports? Who maintains the actual pipeline? Because the hard truth is, if nobody officially owns the workflow, then nobody owns the data quality. Now, a super common practical question we get at this stage is, okay, so how do I actually import these leads into my CRM? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward. Most major platforms, your HubSpots, Salesforces, Pipedrives, they'll easily eat up a CSV import. The real trick, though, is that you have to meticulously match your spreadsheet column names to the CRM's required fields. So make sure you're mapping name, phone, email, and address perfectly so the system understands it.
So the crucial point here really boils down to your lead usability rate. This right here is the ultimate measure of your pipeline's success. Out of all the thousands of leads you collected, how many are actually ready for approved outreach? A tight, small list of clean, relevant, and highly usable leads is going to beat thousands of messy, unverified rows every single time. No contest. So before you go out there and build or expand your pipeline, I want you to ask yourself a few things. Is this data source permitted? Is the data truly usable? And who exactly owns this workflow? If you can confidently answer those questions, you're not just scraping the web. You're building a highly reliable engine for growth. But honestly, ask yourself, right now, how much invisible administrative work is hiding inside your current pipeline? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.